Hi, everyone. This is just a really brief introduction to Chapter 5. This week, you're going to focus on Chapter 5, and you are going to take that first midterm. Now, don't be alarmed. I do provide a study guide for the midterm. It's all essays. But I do provide a study guide, and I also provide a separate video where I go over each question. And so this one's just going to be quickly about Chapter 5, and then you'll find later in the module some information about each of those questions where I go over in detail what I'm looking for and what you should think about including in your essays as you study. Okay, so Chapter 5 is about socialization. Now, a lot of us prefer to think that when it comes to who we are today, that we became who we are of our own volition. That is, that there were no social influences upon us. But that's not true. The reality is that there are all kinds of people around us in the various social environments that we are part of or have been part of that have influenced us. And in this module, when you focus on chapter 5, you will focus on first what socialization is. Socialization from the sociological perspective is the process by which society transmits its norms, its values, so that we can contribute to society, so that we can function reasonably well within society. When we think about those different social environments, we call them social agents. So those various social agents that have had an influence on us are things such as family, peers, media, schools, even religion, depending upon your family and whether or not religion is something that your family embraced or somewhat embraced or didn't embrace at all. And so those various social agents all influenced us, whether we realize it or not, to shape us to be the person that we are today. Now, those social agents over time, their importance may change, may shift. For example, when we're very young, probably our families or the caregivers who were around us and we spent a lot of time with had a lot of influence on us, right? They taught us to walk and talk and dress ourselves, to feed ourselves, all of those things. Then we go to school and schools are socializing us, and you'll watch a video more about that. But also our peers are influencing us in school as well. And as we get older, maybe our families decrease in importance in terms of their influence on us, and maybe our peers become more influential, or maybe schools become more influential. It really just depends on the person we are, the people in those various social environments, those various social institutions, those social agents, and whether we are open to embracing their influence or not. So that's socialization. You'll learn more about those social agents, both in the reading and in the video in the module. Also, you'll learn about some of the social development theories. For example, a very well-known symbolic interactionist theorist by the name of Erving Goffman created a concept that he calls dramaturgy. And he essentially argues what William Shakespeare said all those years, hundreds of years ago, I think it's 500 now or so, all the world is a stage and we're merely actors in it. What Shakespeare meant by this, and what sociologist Erving Goffman also means, is that when we're interacting with people, most of the time we're not being our authentic selves. Most of the time we're acting according to a script, a loosely written script, mind you, but a script that society has provided for us, a script that tells us how to act. Just as a script for people who are acting in a movie or in a play, that script tells them what to say, what to do, how to act. Goffman suggests that that's how a lot of our social interaction is. And if you stop and think about it, you begin to recognize, well, this has some merit to it. When you go to school, in classes, on campus, maybe you're interacting in one way. Then you go hang out with your friends for lunch. Then you're interacting in a different way. Then you go home, and if you live with your family, you're interacting with them in a different way. It's not because you've changed necessarily, but it's because the people in those different social environments have changed. They have different expectations of you, and so we act according to their expectations. Again, this is generally most of us. Are there people who don't care what other people expect or what other people deem appropriate in terms of interaction? Sure. But the vast majority of us are interacting according to what that social script says for a particular uh, situation. And so that's it in a nutshell, what you're going to focus on in Chapter 5. And as I said, the study guide is in this module, and you will find some separate videos because I don't want to make the video too long. I'm going to focus on each question in each of the separate videos of the midterm. Okay? So I will see you next week. Bye.